Hello students, welcome back to Nutrition in Plants. Do you remember which are the four types of heterotrophic plants? Yes, they are parasitic, saprophytic, insectivorous and symbiotic. In our last class, you have already learned parasitic and saprophytic mode of nutrition. Today we will look into insectivorous and symbiotic plants. Do you remember something about insectivorous plants that you have learned in lower classes? They trap and eat insects. Why do they do so? These insectivorous plants grow in soil that is deficient of nutrients like nitrogen. Deficient means less of. In that soil, nitrogen will be less. To get the nutrients, they trap and eat insects. So for the plant's growth, nutrients like nitrogen is essential for them. So when they are growing in soil which is having less of nitrogen, to get the nitrogen, they trap and eat insects. These leaves of these plants, they are modified to special structures to catch hold of the insects. That means each of the insectivorous plants in their structure, their leaves are modified or adapted to some special structures with the help of which they are able to catch the insects. Let us see some examples. Pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, bladderwort and sundew plant. These four are examples for insectivorous plants. Let us see how insectivorous plants catch hold of insects. Pitcher plant, it has leaves modified into long tubular pitcher. Inside the tubular pitcher, it contains digestive juices. So when an insect by mistake it comes and sits on top of this pitcher, it will just be thrown into the long tubular pitcher because it is a long barrel shaped structure. And inside, with the help of digestive juices, that insect is getting digested. Whereas for the insectivorous plant called Venus flytrap, it has leaves modified into hairs. It has modified leaves with hairs on either side of the leaves. So when an insect comes and sits on the leaves shut in less than a second. That means the insect will not come to know what had happened by the time the leaves are closed and the insect is getting digested. There are other plant called bladderwort. The leaves of bladderwort has pear-shaped bladders, very small pear-shaped bladders. These bladders will be sucking very small insects. Another insectivorous plant called sundew plant. You can see this long, small hair-like structures, growth. They are called tentacles. These long structures are called tentacles. At the end of tentacles, it has a sticky substance called mucilage. So when an insect comes and sits on the tentacles of sundew plant, it gets stuck because of the mucilage, because of the sticky substance. So these are the different ways by which insectivorous plants catch hold of insects. So which are the four types of insectivorous plants we told? Pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, bladderworts and sundew plant. Now, what are called symbiotic plants? Symbiosis. The word symbiosis means when two organisms live together and help each other, it is called symbiosis. Example for a symbiotic plant is lichen. In that tree bark, you can see a green colored plant. Its name is called lichen. In lichen, a fungus and a green alga both live together. As we already told, lichens are symbiotic association between a fungus and microscopic chlorophyll containing organisms called green algae. How these fungus and green algae are mutually getting benefited, we'll have a look. So as we are aware, when the green algae contain chlorophyll, that means it can prepare its own food. So in lichen, algae prepares food to fungus. In return, the fungus absorbs water and minerals for the alga. So green algae, it has chlorophyll, it can make its own food and it will provide the food to fungus. In return, the fungus absorbs water and minerals for the alga. This is how in lichen the fungus and algae exhibit symbiotic relationship. That means they both are mutually benefited to each other. Symbiosis in leguminous plants. Here in this picture you can see a very familiar plant called pea plant. Right, during a winter season we always used to buy this pea from outside, and we will be peeling that pea seeds from its pods, right? You will be doing this work at home. It is a very interesting work. So what is meant by leguminous plant? Example for a leguminous plant we saw here, pea plant. Leguminous plants are those plants that contain seeds in their pods. These type of plants are called leguminous plants. What is the symbiotic relationship between pea plant and a bacteria? Let us see. So the first picture you can see a pea plant. In the second picture you can see the roots of the pea plant, and here there are small circle bulgings. Those contain a bacteria called rhizobium. Here in the next picture you can see these big circles are microscopic enlargement of the rhizobium. Rhizobia inside vesicles, that means rhizobia present inside the roots of leguminous plant. So, how the pea plant and bacteria are mutually benefited? What is the symbiotic relationship between them? Rhizobium, it converts nitrogen into ammonia, which is an excellent manure for the leguminous plant or for the pea plant to grow. Pea plant in turn provides nutrients for bacteria's growth. This is how these two are showing the symbiotic relationship. How is that happening? Rhizobium can convert nitrogen into ammonia. That ammonia is an excellent manure. It will help for the pea plant to grow well. In return, pea plant provides nutrients for the bacteria's growth. We know that plants use nitrogen from the soil for their growth. As a result, there is a depletion of nitrogen content. The word depletion means reduction. The more absorption of nitrogen by the plants from the soil, it causes a reduction of nitrogen content in the soil. Replenishment of nutrients in the soil. The word replenishment means filling up. Once reduction of nutrients has happened, how it has to be filled up again? So, farmers can make use of two methods to fill up the nutrients. Either they can use manures and fertilizers to replenish the nutrients. So, manures and fertilizers, when they use, they have to buy it. It will be costly method as well. One more other method is they can grow leguminous plants alternatively with crops. So this is more natural way. They don't have to make use of the money. They don't have to put so much money in this natural method. That is, alternatively they will be growing leguminous plants along with the crops. As we already told, how The pea plant, it can replenish the nitrogen content in the soil. Roots of pea plant contain a bacteria called rhizobium, which we already told. These both will exhibit symbiotic relationship. Rhizobium converts nitrogen into ammonia, that is an excellent manure. Plant in turn provides nutrients for the bacteria's growth. So when the farmers grow leguminous plants alternatively with the crops, what all nitrogen content has reduced, it is getting filled up with the help of this rhizobium bacteria that is present in the root of leguminous plants. Let us recap. Two modes of nutrition are autotrophic and heterotrophic. Green plants are autotrophs as they can prepare their own food. Photosynthesis involves use of light energy from sun to convert water and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen. Vascular or conducting tissues in a plant are xylem and phloem. Plants that do not contain chlorophyll are called heterotrophic. Four types of heterotrophic plants are parasitic, saprophytic, insectivorous, and symbiotic. Parasitic plants absorb food from another green plant through special roots. Saprophytic plants have no leaves. Their roots contain microbes called fungi. Insectivorous plants trap and digest insects to obtain nutrients. In a symbiotic relationship, both the organisms mutually gain from each other. Thus, we came to an end of first lesson. I hope it is very clear for you students. Thank you.